Let's talk a little bit about Barcelona. Now, I had this game on the side, so what I'm about to say, don't take it all like, you guys know what, like, I was prioritizing the Arsenal game, which on further reflection was probably the wrong decision to make. This Barca game, I was really hyped for, right? Because obviously me and Cam on the eye test, we just talked about Yamal. We just talked about Barca's brilliant start to the season. Barca are a team for me that I'm very invested in this year, obviously, because I got to interview Lewandowski. I think Bar City, they're the form team in the world right now. Barca at the moment are irresistible. But this game, a very, very difficult place to go to, Monaco. Very, very good young team. Oh man, Monaco, one thing is for sure. They produce brilliant young players. The kid who scored today, what's his name? He's actually Algerian. No, French Algerian. I know he played for the Olympic team. Akliouche. In fact, when I saw that name, Akliouche, I'm like, that's an Algerian name for sure. But Monaco, this is what they do, right? Ben Seguer is Moroccan. But Monaco, very, very promising, fun French team. And they're going to be an issue for teams in this competition. I think Monaco, to be honest, whenever they're in Europe, I feel like they have a decent run in them at times. But Barca go into this game pretty confident that they should win, but it just goes out the window within 10 minutes? Eric Garcia, which Barca fans, can you tell me why did Eric Garcia begin from the start this game? And I'm not saying it's Eric Garcia's fault, but for me, it's just like, damn, Eric Garcia starting for Barcelona, like, come on. Every team has a weak spot. If Eric Garcia is starting for you in 2024, that's a weak spot. However, the guy that I want to talk about, right? Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, man. Oh my God. I always say this about goalkeepers, right? I was talking about this the other day around De Gea. Goalkeepers, I never feel like their decline is like really like gradual. I almost feel like with goalkeepers, it always happens like overnight. I saw it with Casillas. I felt like overnight, he went from one of the best goalkeepers in the world to like a calamity. David De Gea, I always say post 2018 World Cup, it was like two different goalkeepers. Ter Stegen, man. Oh my God. The quality of goals that this guy concedes at times is like comical, bro. Is genuinely comical. And for me, I always say this, right? The most important thing for a goalkeeper, people can talk about ball playing, people can talk about commanding your area, people can talk about shot stopping. For me, the most important thing as a goalkeeper is just to make your team comfortable. Be a safe pair of hands. Make your team, like, if the ball is going in behind, if the ball is kind of being shot from distance, if there's a free kick, if there's a cross to be claimed, your team just has to be confident and comfortable that they have a safe pair of hands behind them. That's why for me, I rate Raya so much. Oh, look, the last 10 games Raya's played has been brilliant. But overall, I don't think Raya, maybe this is the real him, right? But before this, I never thought Raya was like this elite level goalkeeper, but he's a safe pair of hands. You never have to worry about David Raya. Very good in the air, comfortable with the ball at his feet, can shot save. That's what you need as a goalkeeper. Now, if you can get that to the level of Neuer, even better. But the bare minimum is just to make sure that your team is comfortable with you behind them. I think we're getting to a point, or not even getting, I think we've been there with Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, but because Barca have had so many other issues, maybe it gets like kind of pushed under the rug. But it has been an issue with Ter Stegen for Barcelona. It absolutely has been. I don't think Barca fans have been confident about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, and you can even argue, has the defensive line been trusting in Ter Stegen for the last 2-3 years? I think the stat today, right? What was it? 85 matches played in the Champions League, 99 goals conceded. And when you think of like all of Barca's big failures in Europe the last few years, I'm sorry, he's the common theme in all of them, bro. He's got his fingerprints literally and figuratively all over their big exits. And that's true, to be fair. The year they won the league, he actually was very, very good. And in fact, I think at one point he was set to concede like a record amount of goals in terms of like not that many. But Ter Stegen, for me, I know he's the captain as well too, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm looking at the quality of goals today. He's got a lot of questions to answer for, man. He's got a lot of questions to answer for. But we can't not talk about Barcelona without talking about Lamine Yamal. Again, Barca, I feel for them, right? Like the minute they go down 10 men, it's a completely different game. But Lamine, the fairy tale continues, man. The fairy tale continues. First Champions League goal. I think he became the second youngest player ever to score in the Champions League. Am I right in saying that? Yes, second youngest player to ever score in the Champions League. And you know what it is, right? I didn't even think Yamal played his most vintage game for Barca today. Again, it's a tough game, bro. The minute you go down 10 men, the entire game plan goes out the window. You have to adapt. But I look at the goal that he scored today, right? The way he protects, or the way he positions his body in front of the opponent and the attacker, it's very similar to what Haaland did against Ethan Pinnock at the weekend against Brentford. Except this is coming from a 17-year-old that's not a striker and has played, a handful of games at this level? Handful of Champions League games? Again, the intelligence in that moment to kind of completely take the defender out of the equation. The run in behind is becoming a bit of a trademark as well too, right? But I just think it's a really, really intelligent moment from such a young player that, again, like, players of Lamine Yamal's age shouldn't be kind of playing like this. Like, when I think of young, exciting wingers, like of Yamal's age, I think of guys who always want the ball at their feet. They always want to dribble. They always want to like run into defenders. They probably make the wrong decisions. But the beauty of Yamal is he almost just always makes the right decision. His game IQ is just at a totally different level to your average 17-year-old. Forget about the fact that he's that talented to begin with. He's a pure footballer. He's one of the most naturally gifted players that we've seen in the last 15 years. But it's his game intelligence as well too that puts him at another level. You've had brilliant, talented players in the past. Like, I think of a guy like Hatem Ben Arfa. Benzema was saying at one point, this guy, I thought he was as talented as Messi, but was his game IQ to the level of like what should be? Did his game IQ match the level of his talent? Maybe not. But with Yamal, I think it does. And I think that's why his ceiling is as high as it is. And I think it's why he's impacting Champions League games at this level. It's why he's impacting international games at this level. The guy's a freak talent, man. Dembele, that's probably the perfect example, right? Ousmane Dembele is one of the most talented players I've seen in terms of physical and technical traits. He's an incredible talent. Game IQ, it's not there. Yamal at 17 years old, it's there, man. It's there. So Barca, we move. It's a tough game to really take any major conclusions out of. They've been unbelievable this season, and I would have liked to see this game be played with 11 men. Alas, it wasn't to be the case. I'm not going to take too many conclusions from this, except for the fact that Ter Stegen, again, remains a red flag for Barca this year. And Yamal, look at this kid go, man. The fairy tale continues.